Hello, everybody. Welcome to the YINZER Brothers podcast. I'm TJ. I'm here with my brother Tim. We are the YINZER Bros. We are talking today about the Steelers' win against the Browns, the hated Browns, 26-14. Tim is donning the Franco's Italian Army victorious hard hat from the 70s. Wow, it was the Ben Swan song at Heinz Field. What a great game. Tim, you witnessed the game. You watched every inch of the game, right? Every second.
Yes. Of course I did. Yes.
Tim, give me a couple words. Give me a couple words that you would use to describe the game.
Couple words to describe the game. Emotional. Browns are the Browns. Browns are the same old Browns. It was an emotional game. I mean, you watch it from start to finish. It was emotional. Even watching pregame stuff, it was just full of emotions.
It was a very emotional game, and I can't imagine a better way for Ben to go out, for at least from the home stuff, than to play against the Browns, who, they kind of slighted him. They had an opportunity to pick up Ben. You wonder how history would have changed if they would have picked up Ben, but let's just be real. The Browns would have probably ruined Ben Roethlisberger if they would have drafted him. Don't you think, Tim?
Ben Roethlisberger would have turned into Kent Graham. So, yeah, that's about sums it up.
They would have. It was a fun game. It was a good game for the Steelers. Let's talk a little bit about the game. Let's start with the Steelers offense. Tim, what did you think about the Steelers offensive performance on that Monday night?
I mean, pick him up and put him down. Pick him up and put him down.
He looked ridiculous.
He looked like a man. It's amazing when you got a starting center, and
it is.
Kind of incredible. It tells you a lot of like what the hell were they doing all year with 53 there.
I know. I mean, who was it? Hassenauer. He was ridiculous. Big.
Did you hear? I mean, did you hear what Ben said on his?
Ben said we had to move whatchamacallit to guard.
I mean,
but he should be a guard, man. That's why he's more built for a guard.
But like, do you think Ben would have said something before like week? I don't know.
Yeah.
18.
Do we blame Clem? Was Clem thinking a little bit too much about that?
I don't know what the hell they were thinking. I don't even think he's a starting guard. Yeah, I don't think he's a starting lineman.
He may not be. We'll see. I don't know. I like to see him at guard. He doesn't have to think about it as much. But you're right. So Najee, these were his numbers.
He's too small.
I agree.
He's too small.
What is he? He's 6'2", 260,
He's
270?
too small.
Yeah.
It was a bad pick.
I mean, Tim, those are close to our specs. 6'2", 260, 270.
I am not 260, 270.
So these were Najee's numbers: 28 carries, $188, almost 7 yards a carry.
I mean, he was running violently all night.
He's scary. He doesn't run like on his tippy toes like Henry. He has a scary lean though. And how about that stiff arm? Sweet Lord, that poor guy.
That would have been another one where Tim Harris would have taken his pads off and just laid there and just said, "Hey, this is where I'm going to." I think it was around that 40-yard line of Heinz Field. My body would still be encrusted in the earth around the 40-yard line even now.
Pretty close, probably. No, it was great. Ben wasn't great, but Ben did what he needed to do to win, and the receivers weren't that great either.
TJ, I am so sick of Chase Claypool flopping on the ground like a fish trying to catch a ball when I mean, are you kidding me?
He needs to be more disciplined. He needs to be more disciplined. Like that one where he actually stopped his route and he jumped center of the field. He keeps running. That's a touchdown.
I don't think he's any good.
He's good. He just has to get disciplined.
TJ, if you have specs, I'm going to always go back on it. If you have specs just like Megatron, height, speed, weight, and you're picked in the second round of the NFL draft, something doesn't add up. Because if there's a dude like that size that came out in the draft, you'd be like, "Oh, this dude needs to be a top 3 pick." Something doesn't add up to me.
Yeah. Hey, but don't worry, we'll always have Ray, Tim.
Dude, they keep fixing him 19,000 times.
We'll always have Ray. It was, the
offense. You would have thought Ray was Antonio Brown's offense.
So let me throw something at you real quick. I know we're not even to the segment yet, but given the production of everything, would it surprise you for us to see Juju back in the Steeler uniform?
Again, I think it boils down to who the quarterback is.
Well,
Speaking of that doofus, can you imagine
I know what you're going to
that
say. You're talking about him going out to
that
take the knee in the victory
that
formation?
doofus?
Yeah.
TJ, if he would have done that, they
So,
wouldn't have been able to bring
Tim,
him.
tell our viewers, if they haven't heard, tell them what he almost did.
After the pickoff of the safety at the end of the game, there were 10 seconds left in the game. Stupid face was going to go out there and take a knee. What a doofus you got to be to do that on Ben's game. I mean, you got to be an absolute doofus. I mean,
I
TJ,
agree.
doofus.
And what did Ben tell him? They say something like, "Don't worry, I got this one." Something like
I
that.
got this. You know what I would have said? I would have said, "Hey, stupid face, I got this."
Yeah,
TJ,
that was not
you
Mason's
know what?
finest
Truthfully,
moment.
I would almost let him go out there, because if he goes out there and takes that knee or tries to go out there, the people of Pittsburgh are going to hate him so much they couldn't bring him. There's no way they could bring him
You're
back
right.
next year. There's none.
You're right. He was just
What a doofus! What a doofus!
No, it just adds to the
That would be like me coming out of the crowd like, I got this. Ben, I'm going to take the knee.
Don't worry, Ben. I got this for you.
There's only one person on the planet that could have took that knee besides Ben.
Who's
One.
that?
Little Benjamin, his son, his 7-year-old son, trot him out.
That's true.
You gotta
Something about
be,
those
what
kids.
a doofus.
Do you remember? I don't know if you remember. Do you remember when Mario unretired?
Yeah, when his kid brought his jersey out of the rafters.
So they lowered his jersey from the rafters with his kid standing there. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And when it reached the ground, everything blacked out, and Mario came skating out of the side.
That'd be like that's like Mason. That's like Mason be like, hey, no, trying to run out when Mario's kid trying to bring him. I got it.
Giving him the old stiff arm. Yeah. Not his
doofus.
finest moment. So the
What
offense
a
looked good.
dummy.
That's what I want to see out of the offense. You run, you let the air out of the tires, run the ball, pass a little bit. Let's talk about the defense. Wow. 9 sacks. Now let's just be real. Baker Mayfield is, how would you describe Baker in a word or two, Tim? And you can't say not good at football. That's too many words.
In a word or two?
Yeah.
What is he? The 37th Browns QB? Is that too many words?
Yeah.
Or should that sum it up? Because you realize like they all stink, and he stinks too, and he fits the fan base, and he fits the city just perfect. They all stink. I mean,
they do,
and
they're stuck with him too. Like, they're stuck with him.
Good,
at least for another year.
I hope he's a great year next year. They give him all the monies, all of the monies. Like, to me, I get it, he was bad, but dude, what type of game plan do you got when you got that rookie left tackle with TJ Watt? He was one-on-one.
That's ridiculous.
He was one-on-one.
Yeah, that's like ridiculous.
That's like throwing you or me out there on left tackle. Said, good luck, you're out here on an island with Mr. Watts.
It was bad. And this is nuts to me too. I don't understand this. They only run Chubb. Chubb gets like 12 touches for almost 50 yards. So he's right under 5.0 carry. Why abandon Nick Chubb? He's a great running back.
If I was Chubb, I would have taken my clothes off and just like, I'm done with this whole franchise.
You would have pulled an Antonio Brown and chucked your stuff.
I would have been doing jumping jacks. I left the field being like,
with your man boobs slapping you in the face.
I mean that Cleveland team is I mean, what about the dude? TJ, I don't think the Steelers win that game at all.
Mm-hmm.
If idiot Clowney doesn't throw the shoe 15 yards the first drive of the game.
He's an idiot.
That was the only time they scored. I think it may have been the only time they scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
The game.
Yeah.
What a bunch of Mason should go be their next quarterback. He would fit that franchise perfect.
He would. And have you noticed too in those big games too? I mean, we had the one stupid face game, but Myles Garrett is like non-existent in those games.
I'm sick of him. I'm sick of people saying he's like this and that. I
don't see it.
I mean, stop it.
So
he's
one-dimensional.
Watts. He can rush the passer. He can't stop the run.
No. So these are Watt stats. He had 5 tackles, 4 sacks. Looked pretty good. Even Highsmith had 7 tackles, 2 sacks. Pretty good day at the office.
Can you imagine like being a quarter? Let me flip this to you. Can you imagine somebody, what TJ Watt did to Baker when he started talking to him and Baker could do nothing. Can you imagine if that was your quarterback? Like, if that was my quarterback, I'd be like, I don't want you to do nothing. I want you to go over there and at least just kick the guy in the balls. Do something.
They did nothing. They did nothing.
He just sit there and took it. Baker was like, "You're right. You're right, Daddy." Like, he is. TJ Watt may like it's going from Ben being their daddies to TJ Watt may be the Browns' new daddy.
He might be.
He's like the stepdaddy just rolled in town and they're like, "Oh crap."
He may have.
But TJ Watt's coming with rubber hoses and stitches and stuff like that. That's not a good sign.
No, he's not. And let's talk about. And I think this is an amazing, mid-season pickup. This Witherspoon. He had another pick. I mean, he looks solid.
DJ, he's playing his way out of Pittsburgh. Just crazy. They're not going to sign him. He's going to be like, give me $14 million.
I'll tell you what. He's young. I mean, he's decent. He's tall. He's a little bit of stretch to him.
DJ, but you know the minute they sign him to a long deal, we're going to be going, this dude stinks.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'll tell you what. Even like Taco coming in just to spell these guys in a rotation. That's fine. You don't need, you can have, Ingram. I get it. He's kind of giving Kansas City a shot in the arm.
TJ.
Well, he does, but
Taco
I mean, he's a
stinks.
rotation guy. Would you rather have him or Chickalo in the rotation, Tim?
Oh, Chicolo's human speed bump. I'll tell you, they're Tupac Shakur's growing on me, man.
What do you think Chickalo's doing right now?
Beating somebody up. I don't know, an old lady. I don't know what he's doing.
He was a dirtbag. Holy cow, he was a dirtbag. Even the D line looked good. What vibe did you get from the Steelers on Monday? I mean, obviously they were playing inspired. How did you feel about Ben's big night? Do you think it was everything that we thought it would be?
I thought it was better. I mean, you couldn't. The only thing that would make that better if that was a game to like clinch the playoffs or the Super Bowl or something like that. I mean, no, it was picture perfect from everything. The start of it to the crowd was in a frenzy. That was the only time I was kind of like, man, I wish I would have had my tickets for this game and just went back to that game just to experience it because it seemed like it was electric, man.
Yeah.
And seeing some of them shots of some of the Cleveland people there just looking like complete doofuses made my day. But I don't know. But dude, like, I thought their middle linebackers played well too.
They did.
The
mighty Spillane.
TJ, he can go down and he can tackle like on run plays like nobody's business. But dude, he can't cover.
No.
He couldn't cover a hippo. I don't want to.
Hey, those hippos are pretty fast, Tim, and they throw poop.
Yeah, so I was trying to think of something like a sloth or something. TJ, he can't cover anybody.
No.
I think he would have trouble with. I'm not trying to be like. He may have trouble with me, just covering with juke.
Hey, we know how shifty and quick you are, Tim.
I'm just telling you, man. My man boobs are going one way. He'd be looking the other way.
Very deceptive. You're right. I hear you. Very deceptive. No, I thought it was good. I thought Ben enjoyed his time there, and I thought Pittsburgh did him well. I think they gave him a great send off.
The one thing I would definitely 100% do is try to get that guy they picked off the scrap heap, that 51, that nose tackle dude, Martavius, whatever.
Adams?
Yeah, I would try to make sure I would sign him.
Oh, yeah.
I would give him something because he's not bad. He got a little cut up too. I mean, he's not bad. He'd be a good rotational dude, man.
They're missing those big guys. They keep the guys clean, and it seems pretty good. And I mean, let's just be real. I mean, Cleveland is not a scrub running team at all.
Cleveland stinks.
Well, they do. And Baker Mayfield was just awful. But I mean, we did pretty good. We'll talk about the Ravens here in a second.
Can you imagine a quarterback beating you 24 times? You won 3 times against 24-3.
Did you hear what Shannon Sharp said about that? They talked about the Bears or the Browns Steelers rivalry. He says it's not a rivalry. He goes, "You won like 3 times." He goes, "That's not a rivalry."
I mean, can you imagine that for 18 years, twice a year, knowing I'm gonna get my face beat in by 7?
I know it's bad.
It would suck.
Oh,
that would be like me knowing, during the fall, 2 times out of that fall, Daddy's going to beat the loving crap out of me. There's nothing I can do. He's beating me with a belt. I got to sit there and I just got to take it and be like, yeah, is it?
And you know what's funny? I mean, there were people that were predicting the Browns would be in the Super Bowl.
I love it. I love it. Do you know who's predicting them?
Who?
The people of Cleveland, because they're stupid.
You're probably right. No, they were bad. They were
I
bad.
love it. I love it.
I don't know. So that was a good game. It was a good send off. I thought it'd be kind of interesting. Now, again, and we're not going to get into too much of the future, but I'm old enough to remember fully the dark years, and that is from the last pass of Terry Bradshaw and to the first pass of Ben Roethlisberger. Now, within that thing, we had a plethora of
You make it sound like I wasn't available during those splitches of times.
well, you were young. You were born in '80, Tim. So you were there. You were born in celebration of Cliff Stout being there.
Yeah,
Tell me your
I
earliest memories of
understand.
Cliff Stout, Tim.
I don't know, pushed out.
I
Everything
remember
for
this.
me. Mark Malone was the one that. Mark Malone was the one. It was Mark Malone was
Malone
Bobby
was
before
about-
Malone.
Was what now?
Bobby was after.
Oh, no,
Malone.
Mark was before Bubby. Yeah, Mark was before Bubby.
Yeah,
Mark
so I
was actually a
remember
first.
Malone.
He was a first round draft pick, which is scary. But so I remember this is how old I am. I remember when Cliff Stout was actually pushing people in Pittsburgh. This is a typical Yinzer thing. People in Pittsburgh were saying that Bradshaw was washed up and that Cliff Stout should have been the starting quarterback before he had his injury. And then Cliff Stout did this brilliant thing as a Steeler quarterback. He was at a bar, I want to say somewhere in the West Coast, maybe, I don't know, maybe LA or Seattle or something like that. And he was hitting a punching bag. He missed the punching bag and he broke his forearm on a steel rod. And he was done for the year. Cliff Stout.
How do you miss a punch bag? You're an
It
NFL
told me
quarterback.
all I needed to know about him possibly being the Steelers' next QB. So this I thought would be kind of interesting. I'm going to just name the QB and tell me some of your thoughts about the QBs. These are the QBs in order from Bradshaw to Ben. We call it the dark years. Let's just call it the dark years, okay?
Okay.
You start out with Cliff Stout. What do you remember about Cliff Stout? I told you a great story about Cliff Stout. Do you know anything about Cliff Stout?
I don't. I mean, I'm assuming I was probably in a bouncer during Cliff
You were
Stout's
probably. He didn't have a long
stage.
tenure. So then the next one,
and I was between a being a bouncer and getting Marble Reds blown in my face.
probably. It was a different time in the 80s, Tim. So the next one was David Woodley. Do you remember David Woodley at all? Do you recall any of his stuff?
No, I'm guessing by that time I was getting Salem lights blown in my face.
He wasn't bad, but he wasn't that good either. Then we had drafted Mark Malone. He sat on the bench for a little bit. So Mark Malone came out, and I remember he was fast. If I remember correctly,
He was very fast. He was a wide receiver, I thought.
Well, they used him kind of like Slash before Slash was there. And I want to say he had the record for the Steelers' longest touchdown. I don't know if he still does or not. Yeah, he does.
He stunk.
He was fast, couldn't throw a ball. Let me ask you a question. Was he a worse QB or reporter? Because he was a terrible reporter, too.
I thought he was way better reporter than he was a QB. He stunk as a QB, TJ.
He did. So then we had, you probably don't remember, we had Scott Campbell. You remember Scott Campbell, Tim? He was bad.
Yes, I remember him. I mean, I remember the name.
He was bad.
Yeah.
And then we entered into the Bubby Brister years, number 6.
That dude stunk.
Bubby
that was
Brister.
your guy. That was your guy. I remember that was. I remember that was your dude.
So you want to hear
love
something funny?
Bobby Brewster.
My good friend Derek Gunn, who's got the podcast Gun on One, was in Pittsburgh.
He has a couple listeners to that podcast.
Yes, he does. So he said that Bubby Brister is the toughest man he's ever met.
That's great. He still stunk at football.
He wasn't good. Do you remember where he went after Pittsburgh, Tim?
I should have went to the trash can. I think he went to Chicago. Right?
He did go. It was kind of like the trash can. He went to the Bears. We would give
Bobby
all
Brewster.
of our castaways. We gave Tim
Bobby
Worley to them.
Brewster
All those things. It was
stunk.
bad. So then after him, do you remember who was after him? I'll give you a hint. We picked him up from San Francisco.
San Francisco? I thought
Steve Bono. He wasn't here very long.
Bono played for the Steelers?
He was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And then we got Pennsylvania's own Todd Blackledge. You remember what college he played for?
Yeah. Penn State. He stunk.
Yeah. Here's a fun fact. Ready for this? I actually played a basketball game with Todd Blackledge. He passed me a ball. Big man.
Did he stink?
He was terrible. He couldn't basketball, football. He was terrible. But I couldn't say anything because he's like 6'4", 6'5", Tim.
Kick him in the balls.
I'd have to. So then there was a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. We had Neil O'Donnell. Remember Neil?
That SOB. Yes, I remember.
You and I were
O'Donnell.
down. We were down at the game. We were down at the Indy game at Three River Stadium when we won and we're going to the Super Bowl and we thought we got a chance against Dallas.
I still think we would have won a Super Bowl when he stayed in Pittsburgh. I still think we would have.
We could have. Remember, he went to the Jets.
Yeah, dumpster. But that sucks for him because everybody goes to the Jets, turns into poop.
They do. And then we got a Bears throwaway, the incredible Mike Tomczak. Yeah.
He
You know, ready for
sucked.
this? Mike Tomczak, you ready for this? This is a glowing thing from Mike Ditka. He said this about Mike Tomczak. Said he was the greatest QB potential he'd ever had.
Mike Dick is an idiot.
He's not very smart. And then it gets even worse. We had Jim Miller. I don't know if you remember Jim Miller. Remember Jim Miller?
I remember Jim Miller.
He was so bad. And then there was a little
I think he went to the Bear. He was somebody. He's an announcer for the Bear or something like that.
He went to the Bears. He did. And then we had a little ray of light.
Jesus, Bears. What is wrong with you?
I don't know why they're picking these guys up. We had Cordell Stewart. Remember Cordell Stewart?
Cordell, yes, I do. I mean,
he was a receiver. I remember Mike Tomczak throwing him some dimes.
I would have loved to see Cordell in these day and ages. I mean, he was before his time. I don't think he was awful, but I don't think. I mean, he was never going to win you a Super Bowl. He was going to get you far enough just to rip your face off.
I still remember the game that Bill Cowher kissed him on the forehead, and he took all kind of abuse from Pittsburghers. The weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
And then you had after Cordell, Kent Graham. Remember Kent Graham?
That dude
he may have been.
He owes Tom Harris season ticket money.
He does. So who would you say was worse, Kent Graham or Mark Malone?
Oh, TJ, Kent Graham, because he stole. He literally stole bags of money.
He did.
He showed up with the Steelers facility dressed like what's the hamburger from the McDonald's?
The hamburger, yeah.
Just taking money. He was like.
And then we had Tommy Maddox. You remember where we picked up Tommy Maddox from?
Kent Graham may be the worst quarterback ever in Pittsburgh Steelers history.
He was bad. He was incredibly.
You know where
bad.
he lives?
Huh?
He lives where I live. If I ever saw that, if I ever saw him out in public,
I don't know if I'd call him out, Tim, because Kent Graham, if I remember, he was a large man.
He's like 70 now. What's he gonna do?
Boy, he could be spry. He could be 6'5" and spry, Tim.
TJ, I'm gonna kick him directly in the junk too. I'm gonna kick him in the junk. I'm gonna take his cash out of his wallet and say, "Hey, this is for Tom."
Is man.
That's what I'm gonna do.
And then we had Tommy Maddox. Remember where we got Tommy Maddox from?
XFL, dude.
XFL.
Everybody thought he was like the next like Danny Marino.
Well, they called him Tommy Gun because he had that quick release. And then lo and behold, he gets hurt. Do you remember the team that they were playing? They were playing when he goes down?
Baltimore.
He gets hurt.
Don't riddle me on Ben facts, TJ.
He gets hurt.
TJ, and then if you want to be real, yeah, TJ. Did I cry? Did I cry on Monday? Yeah, I cried. I cried.
So my point is this: there were 13 QBs.
7 is like top 3 people in my world.
Between 7. So, I mean, we're hoping we find somebody, but we have 2. How many organizations can say they have 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks? I mean, you got guys like San Francisco, they got 2. But I mean, Cleveland.
Green
Bay, they'll have 2. Yeah, they will. There aren't many. That's a good. Actually, what's cool about Green Bay, they're back to back. And San Francisco's back to back too. You talk about about Young, and then you talk about Montana.
There's a decent chunk of franchises that say that, but TJ, I get it. TJ, if we don't do something, we are in some deep do. If we don't make a push for one of those dudes, we are in. TJ, I can't go through the dark years again. I can't do it. I think
we'll do. I think we'll do okay. I think they got there's names. So we could talk about some of those names later. But before we talk about those things, let's kind of take a peek into the YINZER mailbag. I know, isn't that terrible?
Kent Graham.
The YINZER mailbag is when you, the fan, get to ask us any questions. You can email us at yinzerbros@gmail.com. We'll answer anything. Tim, what do we have in the YINZER mailbag this beautiful, beautiful day?
You got me just totally shook up, Kent Graham.
I remember him. Oh, he even looked goofy in his uniform. Big head, goofy. He always threw the ball high too. Always threw the ball high.
You know, he looked like what's the guy from Toy Story, the one that dresses Buddy or whatever his name is, the cowboy. That's what he looks like.
He did. So he wasn't as coordinated. He had more of a Frankenstein move to him. He wasn't very mobile. I mean,
he stealing hard-earned money from steel workers. That's what he did.
He was bad.
All those steel workers, he was taking their money. That's what he did. He said, "Give me your money." The people that built America, he said, "Give me your money." I'm taking it.
He was bad.
And I'm moving to Wheaton, Illinois, and there's nothing you can do about it.
He was bad.
All right. YINZER mailbox. First question. What are the top 3 needs of the draft?
For the Steelers?
Yeah, man. I've had scenarios just go in my brain, and like I thought, like after I was thinking maybe the quarterback from Old Miss, and I watched him play. I'm like, that dude stinks. I don't want him on my team either.
No, it's not a good QB year. It's just not.
No.
I mean,
TJ,
obviously, I think you got to go O and D line, right?
yeah. To me, I think the D line. It comes down to what Tuitt's going to do. If I don't know what he's doing. Is he in
See,
La La Land? Is he done?
Just the mystery of it not knowing tells me everything I need to know. You got to say something. And
But,
for the
but,
Steelers to like,
I think you have bigger needs than defensive line.
Mhm.
You got to get a linebacker.
You do.
You have to get a linebacker.
Yeah. So I think.
I mean, O line to me, O line's number one.
Yeah, I think you grab a stud. They need to probably grab a stud. I mean, but here's the thing. I mean, let's see how 53 does at guard. I mean, if he's serviceable, I mean that's okay.
TJ. You are not drafting a center or a guard in round one.
No.
You are drafting a stalwart tackle. I think Dan Moore's gonna be a great tackle on the left side.
I think you get another great tackle.
Schutz is gone. Yeah. You get another great tackle. You got two bookends. I don't give a damn who you put in between those guys.
So what do you do with Banner?
Because you remember, you still have Dotson.
Yeah.
You still have Dotson's good.
Yeah.
Dotson's, when he's healthy, he's going to be a pretty good guard.
Yeah.
It's you got to find that other guard if you want to bring back Trey, have that veteran, for a couple of years, and go get yourself a center in round 3.
Yeah, somebody will be floating around. I think where they could grab to help the bolster the line too. You can always grab a journeyman.
Let Banner be a backup. He was a backup swing tackle. Let him be a backup swing tackle.
I agree with you. We need an inside backer. There's no doubt. I think we need, depending on what happens with Hayden, you're going to need a corner.
I think they're going to be there. If they somehow sign Withers, they're going to think they got enough corners. They think they're going to have Sutton, and they're going to have another year with. They're going to have Millette. I think they need a corner, but I personally don't think they're going to draft them because I think they're going to think we got these guys. We got Pierre. We got these other garbage people that pick up the trap.
The guys are pretty young too. I mean, and here's the thing. I mean, what do you think the market's going to be for Hayden?
That's what I was going to say. If you look at the potential cornerback market next year, I don't think there's a potential free agent that is under 30 besides Witherspoon, truthfully. Yeah. So you may be able to get Hayden back cheap.
Yeah, maybe. I think those would be the two. I think you're always looking. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, depends on what happens with Juju. They probably, Washington's going to be gone. They need a wide receiver.
TJ, you have to get a receiver, but the receiver you have to get has to be able to take the top off of defense. I'm talking, TJ. You need a burner, speed dude. I'm talking Tyreek Hill type of Jets.
Yeah.
Because to me, here's which I don't understand why they don't do. You got Deontay Johnson. You better lock him down. Truthfully,
yeah.
I would take Chase and move him into the slot. Let Juju go. TJ, go get a dude that can burn on the outside.
Yeah.
And it's going to open up the middle for Fairmouth. It's going to open up. That's what you got to do. You need a burner that's going to take the top off of defense because Chase Clay pointed. Deontay Johnson, awesome receiver. He's not going to take the top off of defense.
No.
You need somebody that's going to take the top off of defense.
I agree. And I'm done too. I think now, I mean, even when you look at like running backs too, McFarland, you can have him. Snell, I don't know what to do with him. I mean, he's
bad for number TJ. For number 2, I don't think he's bad. What do you expect at your number 2? If you get Benny Snell, TJ, if you give him 15 touches, he usually gets better, but he's not going to get 15 touches. No. Do I think you need to get a guy for third down that's a little bit shiftier? Yes.
Yeah. McFarland, I think he was a waste of a pick.
TJ, they've been drafting that. They've been trying to draft that shifty little scat back. They try to draft them a bazillion times. They all stink. The dude before that, I forget his name was, little guy, and Burner stunk. Yeah. I don't know. They stink at it. They stink at it.
I agree. No. What else you got in the mailbag?
Let's see what else we got here. Kind of disappointed. No Mush tonight, so I don't know what he's doing.
He may be overwhelmed with emotion because of the big game.
That guy. I told him, I was like, dude, you text me during this game, I may burn your house down to the ground. I was like, don't text me during this game. And I tell you right now, they're winning 10-0 at halftime. Don't hear a peep from him. I get a text from him, and Steelers start playing like dog to do. I go, dude, you need to
He's
go
in your
away.
head, Tim. He's in your head now.
TJ, it's nothing to do with my head. It's TJ. It's actual facts. Like you look in the dictionary and stuff like that. These are factual things. They're like mush. There's a picture of him like this.
These are factual things. Tim.
Okay, how does Ben rank with the great quarterbacks of the NFL? Interesting. I thought about this too, man. You see people making lists of top 10s and top 15s. It's, I don't know, man. Like the more you look at it.
I mean, he's not, I wouldn't consider him like the greatest pure passer, but I think he kind of revolutionized the game. Can you think of any other QB in our era that could throw guys off like that? That was really tough to tackle, could extend plays. And even, I listened, did you hear the Manning brothers talk about when he does his pump fake? These are two, like, pro level QBs. They said, we have no idea how tough it is to do that. They said it's like almost impossible. They were talking about, they're like, we don't even know how he does that.
The only dude that was, I don't know, it's not, and it's not even like that. I mean, just his size. Didn't play them, just was Cam. I mean, Cam had his size, but it's never, even in his MVP year, Cam was more of just he was running, and throwing. It wasn't like a sit back and kind of buy time. There's like, I mean, you see some of it today in a couple of guys, I think, but nothing like before him or around him. No, dude. I mean, he's in the crate. I don't know if you heard Cowherd's take. Colin Cowherd.
Oh, I did hear that. Yeah, I did hear that.
I mean, that Ben just underachieved.
I think he's wrong. I mean, this is what I think.
That's a banana statement, dude.
It is. I think he's just looking for stuff. You forget they found him at the University of Miami of Ohio. If anybody thought he was anything, what was he doing there? And even, this whole underachiever thing, just because you have the gifts and the talents and you have the physical ability, doesn't mean you're going to be anything. He had the ability, he had the heart, he had the longevity, and he had the intellect. You got to put all that stuff together. I think of guys like Andrew Luck. Remember when Andrew Luck came into the league? Oh, he's going to be a world beater. He's the next guy. How long did he last? He just wasn't durable. What amazes me is this. Ben lasted 18 years playing that rugged style of football. Can you think of any other QB? Well, look at Cam Newton. He got hit around, and he had a fraction of the lifespan that Ben did. I can't think of any other QB that took the abuse that he did in the modern era. That still can move around and tie his shoes and do stuff like that. Maybe like as far as a toughness, maybe a Brett Favre. He didn't have the size, and Brett Favre definitely couldn't like shake guys off, but he could take hits. Ben was like almost a top. They say trying to tackle him was like tackling a tree. I was listening. I think it was one of the Ravens guys. He said the only way that you could get Ben down, because you couldn't tackle his torso, you had to tackle his arms. He said if you can get his arms, you could take care of him. Of course, they didn't have a ton of success against him either, but it made sense to me. I think he'll be remembered as a guy that kind of changed the game a little bit.
But where do you put him in the
all time?
The all time count? Yeah, I mean,
he's definitely in the top 10. I think I'd put him in the top 10. I do. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some guys like that were pure passers. Like I think of Marino was a pure passer. As far as ability, Brady has been in some great systems, but as far as natural ability, I think there's other QBs that had better ability than he did. But again, longevity and wins. What do you do with guys like Montana? 4 Super Bowl rings, not necessarily all the greatest stats in the world. The game's different now. I think he's definitely top 10. There's no doubt, just because of how he played, the longevity. I mean, where do you put Drew Brees? Do you put Brees in the top 10?
That's the main thing. I hear people say, "Well, he's not Drew Brees, not Drew Brees." I'm like, I mean, he won 2 Super Bowls, went to 3.
He did.
Drew Brees won 1. I mean, Brees has some better passing stats, but
he threw for a lot of yards. That's it. I mean, there's more to QBing than throwing for a lot of yards.
Ben won. TJ, you're remembered as a winner. He won. It's all he did was he's never. TJ, is there any other quarterback that's never had a losing season ever in the NFL?
I was just going to say that. I don't know if there is one. I can't.
That's a banana stat, TJ.
It is.
That's a crazy stat.
It is.
But I mean,
I think you're right. It is. So I don't know. I think it's.
I don't know. To me, I think it's fair to put him in the. I think people are top 10, I guess, you know, but
I can't think of. I mean, when you think of the bottom, I mean, who do you put above? I mean, obviously the top, you got like you have your Brady's and your Mannings, and like even like Elway had his moments. He's in there because of some of the great moments. He's a top 10 guy, but if you're going to put Elway there, you got to put Ben there. You just have to. I think they're very similar in their playing style, and Ben's got better stats than he does, and he's been to more Super Bowls. So I mean, it's
No,
they
he
both
hasn't.
got two.
No,
What
he
was
hasn't. No, he
How
hasn't.
many's he been to? Oh, he's at 4 because he lost.
Elwell?
Yeah, he won
lost.
2.
I thought he lost. I thought he was more than. He lost 2?
Yeah, he was at 4, I believe. Yeah, he lost 2. I think he may have only been to 3.
Yeah, he did. I thought no, because he won 2.
He won 2. Yeah,
I
he won 2 back to back.
I thought he dragged like some of them. Sorry, I thought it was more than 2 that he dragged. There's Denver teams. I'm sorry, Denver teams to championships. Super Bowls.
He was close. I want to say, didn't he beat Cleveland to go to the Super Bowl one year? He was young, and they didn't win. They played. I think it's when they were going up against like maybe the Niners and guys like that. They were just ridiculous teams.
I thought they went back to back years.
They may have. They just didn't win.
They lost.
Yeah, they lost.
Yeah, they lost.
I think they went to 4. Yeah, and then they won. I mean, he went out the exact way you want to go out in your storybook. He wins the Super Bowl for the second time, and then he retires. But I think I would put him definitely in top 10, definitely top 15. I just, from longevity and just what you mean to the franchise. I mean, I think he's the greatest Steeler quarterback we've had. I put him above Bradshaw, just for not necessarily just because of the Super Bowl wins, but stats, longevity. Ben was when was Bradshaw drafted in 69, 70?
Mm-hmm.
So he had a 10-year career.
Yeah, there's 2 different dudes. I mean, truthfully, it's 2 different.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben had some great defenses, but geez, you give him the 70 Steelers defenses. Woof.
Yeah, you're right.
Woof.
I mean, Bradshaw made his name in the postseason. When the game was big, he was big. So
and I think truthfully, I think people always the first Super Bowl Ben won because the stats weren't great. That they always hold that against them, and I'm kind of like, dude, you forget the playoff run to get there. He was phenomenal.
He was ridiculous.
He was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I think he's a top 10 dude. Definitely top 15.
Even how he saves basically the Indy game when Bettis fumbles. Even that's and I know that has nothing to do with the QB position. That's just a football player making a football move, doing what he's got to do.
I agree.
I agree. I don't know. What else you got?
Goddamn doofus Mason.
Mason.
Can you imagine just saying, "Hey, I'm gonna." What in your mind would possess you to think to go run out there and take that knee?
No self-awareness, which scares me to death.
So, TJ, you got to be a jackass to do that. Just to be like, can you imagine just running out in the field? TJ, I would. If TJ Watt didn't just turn the corner and wrap and run through Mason and just put him in the crust of the earth,
wouldn't that be great?
I would have been dissipated. I would have been just, or even like James Harrison came out of the crowd, like when he slammed the Cleveland person and just slammed him.
That's one of the best moments.
You know what? I would have been okay if Garrett rips his helmet off and smacks him right in the face. Like, what are you doing, dude? This is dumb. Could be the doofus.
Come on, man. Dummy. Come on.
What a dummy. All right. Possible new names for Heinz Field.
Oh, did you hear now? The Heinz naming thing runs out this year.
What are they going to name it? They're probably going to name it like everything else in PNC something.
It might be.
I don't know. PNC Bank.
It might be kind of sad that they change it if they change it from Heinz Field because it's kind of got the mystique of Heinz Field, doesn't it?
What are you going to do? Take the ketchup bottles off the top of the goddamn thingy?
I don't know. We should talk to our cousin Andy. Doesn't he work for Heinz?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think he was a computer guy for Heinz. Say, let's get this thing done. We got to do. Do we have to do like a GoFundMe page? What do we have to do? Wouldn't it be cool, Tim, if it was?
Can you imagine doing a GoFundMe page and it's the YINZER Brothers?
That's what I'm saying. YINZER Brothers Stadium.
Your head gets replaced. It gets where the ketchup bottle is, and like my head, when we get in the red zone, we just go like this, and like we're taking and we put like an Eaton Park cookie in the middle. We're taking a bite out of it.
Oh, that would be awesome. I think we do that. Holy cow! What do you think it costs to get the naming rights to that thing?
I don't know. But
would they let us have them for like just a game? If we can scrape up our quarters,
TJ, can you imagine our two? Can you imagine our two fat faces on top of that scoreboard?
Epic.
And right when they get in the red zone, it'd be like this, and taking a bite of the cookie.
And when the opposing team misses field goals, you like, no, no, no.
And like, I'd pop up on the screen with Mason and be like, doofus.
You know, it'd be great too. So every time they score, we would flash a picture of Olivia going like this. Every time the Steelers score,
Exactly.
that would be epic.
But you know, we'd have to. There would have to be something in these naming rights that gives me the ability to get my 4 plays in. That's it. That's it.
That would be great. So is that preseason or regular season, Tim?
What?
Like your 4 plays? Does it have to be in the regular season or could it be preseason?
Oh, I mean, truthfully, you know, no, it's definitely regular season. I probably would have been a doofus just like Mason running out to take that last snap. Like, I got it, man.
Don't worry, Ben. I got this. Don't worry, Ben. I got this. Tim's got you. Timoteo's got you.
I told Bush the other night, I go, hey, you think it's possible that Ben would adopt me into his family after I saw this picture in the background? I go, please. I was like, I can be a good son. We can go out and play someone. Hey, Dad, let's go catch. Let's go for a catch, Dad.
But he can still throw the ball. I mean, could you throw the ball with him?
What I would do is I would catch it from my brother, Benjamin Jr., and have him throw it back to Dad.
Your brother, Ben Jr. Here you go, buddy.
That's what I would do.
Jeez. Yeah. I think we had to give that a hard look. Naming rights to Heinz Field, YINZER Brothers.
Oh, TJ, it would be incredible.
That'd be amazing.
It would be incredible.
It'd be amazing. And that
either like you know, our fat faces on top of thing, or I could see us like from like chest down, and like every time they get in the red zone, like they'd raise our chest up and like you see my boobs.
That would be great.
In the red zone, and then when we got out of the red zone, my chest would go back down and my boobs would go away. Incredible.
That would be great. You could have.
Can you picture like Nance and Rome be like, here comes Tim's boobs? I don't know, Jim. I don't know.
That'd be great. We can work Tom into it somewhere. Tom Harris's "You Stink" baddest mother in the valley corner somewhere. That'd be great.
Yes,
It would have to be a little different than what the normal companies. I mean, we'd have to save some money. We'd have to build our own stuff. Go down to the Home Depot, get some stuff.
TJ, me and you would be at the bottom of the scoreboard, and our faces would be like on cardboard thingies. We have to like with sticks. We have to like raise them up,
like pulleys. That'd be great. All right. Is that all that's in the YINZER mailbag tonight, Tim?
That's all we got.
All right. Again, if you got any questions or anything for us, you can email us at yinzerbros@gmail.com. If you're lucky enough, you get answered on our show, our national podcast, international podcast. Yeah, maybe, I think that we have a listener in actually Greece, so we'd be international, Tim.
Oh, really?
Can you believe that? I don't know why they listen, but they do. Apparently,
we could just tell. We could just tell him we actually have the naming rights to Heinz Field. He probably wouldn't know any better, right?
That's true. He can tell his friends.
Let's
talk about the Steelers and Ravens this week. They both need it and they need help to get into the playoffs.
TJ, I don't know what the hell's going on between this game. I have no idea. I have no clue.
Well, did you see we were going to lose, Deontay, but now we got him back. He's off protocol, the COVID protocol.
TJ, these new COVID rules have me just so angry. It's insane.
They're just bizarre. We know this. We know that Lamar's out.
TJ, I think the Steelers should play this whole season. This game, everything should be under protest because you can't tell me if Ben Roethlisberger's not playing against Detroit, we don't win that game. And guess what? Guess what we're doing right now? We're probably resting everybody because we are in the playoffs already.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. You're right. So we got we're going up against the mighty Huntley. He's not that great. This is weird to say. The Ravens have the last ranked pass defense in the NFL.
TJ, they got guys that just came up working down at the harbor, playing in the defensive backfield in Harbor.
I was even thinking this would have been a great game.
I think they're running tryouts as we speak in the hotel room. They're like,
it's only an hour and a half from my house. We could drive down there.
I'm not TJ. I refuse to use my 4 players as a Raven. That ain't happening.
So, what does the Steelers offense need to do to beat the mighty Ravens, Tim?
I let Ben throw the ball 47, 50 times
for a buck.
I mean, TJ, their pass defense stinks. I mean, it's bad as the do.
It is. It's bad. It's bad. Do you think? Well, how do you think? You think Najee's going to have a good game again?
Yeah, I mean, TJ, I think it's going to come down to like the first, like, if the Steelers somehow like put a drive together, like their first drive of the game, Ravens are going to fold like a chair.
Yeah, they will.
They're going to fold like a chair.
Yeah, they will.
They are. If they don't, then we're going to be. I'm a little nervous because they got Suggs coming back to do their Hall of Fame. He's running out. I mean, if I was a Ravens, I'd suit him up. I'd be like, "You are playing today."
He's probably better than half the guys that they got.
Seriously, I'd take him. I'd be like, "Hey, Ray, you got at least a quarter. Bring him down. Get Ed Reed, get the whole crew. You guys are all playing tonight."
You need them. Holy crap! No, I think if they can get it rolling early, I think they're okay. I'm interested to see how the offensive line does again. If we see a good push again, then
well, I think Moore is doubtful, so I don't think he's playing.
But I mean, so you'll probably see then. I mean, who do you think goes over there? Do you think that's?
No, I still don't think. I don't think he's going there. I think they're going to put Lagoo over there.
Yeah, I think you're right. So, I mean, do you think is there a chance we might see Banner?
No, I think Lagoo's going to be there. LeBlue, whatever his name is. I don't know what the hell his name is. Lagoo, LeBlue, Lebats.
Lagoo.
And then,
he actually wasn't awful. He wasn't terrible. Moore actually has been playing pretty good for a rookie.
I think Moore's gonna be good. I think he's gonna be very good, dude.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think the more I see him, like the Moore's are pretty good. Yeah, I don't know who the hell's playing on the rest of their office. I just hope it's not 53. I hope he's on COVID, isn't he?
He's on COVID. Yeah,
all right, so he's done. He's definitely not playing.
He's on COVID. Whether he's got it or not, we don't know.
That dude stinks. No, I think it's you got him. Who's the other guards?
You got
Trey Turner.
Trey Turner.
And I think they're gonna have Lagoo play the other.
Who was the left guard? Was it Tag or whatever his name is, or what's his name, Hag or whatever?
Yeah, but I think Dawson's gonna play, so I think they're gonna Dawson
throw him in there. Yeah. I'll tell you what, and I also like the north-south. We're just going this way power blocking scheme. That seemed to work a whole lot better. That's Najee. Let's get rid of this east to west crap.
TJ, it looks a lot better when you got I was like Todd Wilson going, it's kind of weird not seeing the nose tackle after Ben takes a half a step off the center, like getting busted in his face.
I know.
It's just different. I'm like, wow, this is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
What the hell did they see in that dude, man?
I blame Clem. I blame Clem. Clem got out of Dodge because Clem knew he was probably going to get fired. Clem's like, I stink. And then he leaves, and it's weird to me. So the guy that takes over, he was like with the Falcons and somebody else for like years. And I'm like, why is he behind Clem? Wasn't Clem one of the Three Stooges? Was that one of the Three Stooges? Clem, was that one of them? I don't understand it.
Yeah, Clem, Canada.
Did you see too in the press conference? So your buddy, our defense coordinator was in COVID protocol.
What if he comes back from COVID and he's like speaking completely perfect English? Just like yes.
So did you hear Tomlin's press conference?
He said
he took over. He said he had dadgummit. So I think that's hysterical. I don't know. So let's go to the other side of the ball. Let's talk about the Steelers defense. Now, again,
we'll go back after this. I got the Mush just throw he just emailed some stuff in. So we'll go back to the YINZER mailbag.
As soon as we get done, we'll go back.
Yeah.
So now here's a fun fact about the Steelers or the Ravens offense. They've given up more sacks than any other team in the league.
Oh, TJ, if I am whoever, I don't know if it's going to be Dingling Magoo Villanueva or whoever is going to be blocking TJ Watt. My God, that dude needs 2 sacks?
He does. Oh, well, it probably will be Villanueva. Isn't he on the other side?
If I'm John Harbaugh, to be a jerk, I'm blocking TJ Watt with 5 people all game. So I'm sending all 5 dudes to block him. Let the other guys free, just so he doesn't get that record on the Ravens.
You know what's funny? I don't think it'd be enough. I think he's going to will at least 2. It wouldn't surprise me in this game if he has 3 or 4 sacks. TJ. So let me ask you a question. With 3 or 4 sacks, even with 2, is that enough to get him Defensive Player of the Year?
TJ, he's got Defensive Player of the Year locked up.
I know. I was listening today to a guy from
TJ, Micah Parsons would have to get 7 sacks and 4 interceptions in the next game.
Do you know who this kid from PFF? Do you know who he said he thinks is by far is the Defensive Player of the Year this year? Guess.
Aaron Donald?
Yeah, Aaron Donald. So TJ, how on earth?
TJ, if you break the sack record, I don't give a damn if somebody else absolutely decapitated somebody in the middle of the field and said, "Hey, help us heading," like Aaron Donald. It doesn't matter.
No.
TJ, he's gonna, unless Aaron Donald has like 7 sacks next game. TJ Watt's winning. He's winning the award.
He should. It would be a travesty if he doesn't. If they give it to a Cowboy rookie or Donald again, it'd be a travesty.
TJ, they're not. I mean, dude, they're, like I said, if I'm John Harbaugh though, like I said, I am. TJ, I'm a triple, quadruple team him every play, just so he doesn't break that record on the Ravens.
Yeah.
If I'm not getting to the playoffs and this and that or whatever, I'm just gonna not letting them do that.
They still have a chance to get in, so they got to play to win.
They need everybody and their mother to lose. They ain't getting in. They ain't getting in. TJ, just like, guess what? Surprise, surprise, we ain't getting in either.
Hey, you never know, man. Did you hear what's going on down there? It is a dumpster fire in Jacksonville. They have their main sponsor is trying to pull out of the last game because now somehow they jumped onto this clown thing. Have you seen this? Everybody's showing up dressed like clowns because they're saying the organization is run by a bunch of clowns.
But did you hear the other thing of that though?
No.
Like, supposedly Carson Wentz is terrified of clowns.
That would be epic.
Can you imagine that?
Can you imagine they win like 13-3? Wentz is in the fetal position, and Jacksonville wins. We win. We get in.
But you know what I would do if the Colts do lose and Steelers win, and that Sunday night game. If I'm the Raiders and the Chargers, I'm taking like 15 knees and just tying it 0-0 and walking off the field.
That's funny. Because
if they tie the Raiders and the Chargers,
they both go.
Yeah, they both. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
Well, I mean, but think of it this way though. I mean, would you rather face the opponent you're playing that day or the Steelers? Wouldn't you rather have the Steelers in that mix? Because we're not as good as either. I mean, do we scare you more than?
The hell are you talking about?
Well, I mean, think about it. We would replace one of those two. I mean, wouldn't you rather have us in the mix because we're not as good of a team? We'd be the weakest AFC team by far.
Yeah, but you don't have an option. I mean, if those two are playing, why would they care? They're both getting in the dance.
One of them's going to get in, so I don't think their thought is we're going to win and take the weaker opponent, the Steelers. We're going to take you out. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
The league is not going to let them take 15 knees.
I don't think that's gonna. That's more respectable. I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah. But it would be hilarious if they did.
Oh, it would be hilarious. But I mean, would you rather? Let's say if you're Oakland, would you rather play the Chargers or the Steelers?
They're never gonna play us.
Well, I mean, we
would be the 6th and 7th seed.
It could happen down the road.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what we would be. Guess what we would be.
Hey,
you know where we have a dance at?
We won our first Super Bowl with Ben as a 6th seed, buddy.
TJ, you know where we would be dancing?
Where are we going to be dancing?
Where we would be you know where we would be dancing at?
Where?
If we got in that first round?
Where would we be dancing?
We would be dancing up in Arrowhead, and they would beat our faces in.
Maybe it'd be different this time, Tim. Maybe it'd be different.
TJ, I don't want to go back up there. I don't want to do it because they were missing Kelsey last game. They beat us by 100. TJ, they cut off to go to a knee for the Raiders game.
I know. Hey, but
this game isn't
Mahomes, he could get the COVID.
Oh, TJ, there's no way the league they would still play that game. They ain't going to be testing. You think the league's going to be testing in the playoffs? Get out of here.
He could get the COVID. You never know.
TJ, there's no way that league is testing anything in the playoffs.
So what did the mush? What questions did he put in?
Oh man, the mush. Of all the sad moments in your life, where did Monday rank?
Well, it's a sad but a joyous moment. You celebrate who he was. I would say. I mean, I cried. I cried a couple times. How could you not cry? My heart is not made of stone, Tim. How could you not cry?
TJ, when Benjamin and Benjama and Benjamin 2 came out and they gave Dad a hug, Tim Mateo just said, I just started crying.
I get it. And you know what? It's funny from where he's come from.
Melissa looked at me and called me the P word. And I said, you know what? I don't care.
It's okay. You got to wear your emotions. People forget. Ben started off, and can I use some Pittsburgh vernacular? He was a jagoff when he first came in.
Ben was never jacked off. He had angel wings and
You
a halo
remember
over his.
he hit an old woman's face when he flew off a motorcycle. Remember he hit her car with his face. They chased her out of town.
That old woman ran into him. That woman ran into him.
And then he had some other questionable things. I mean, he is a
those chicks. All they wanted, they were out for him. They wanted money.
It's a great story of a young jagoff turned good. Tim turned good. He made himself. He made himself better.
I'm gonna miss that dude, man. Holy mackerel!
What else did Mush say?
Last time, maybe. How many throws does the 7 have left in the arm?
Would it surprise you to see him chuck it 50 times?
What did he throw? 40, was it 45 last game?
45 for 123 yards.
Because I think you said we had this conversation between that last 2 games. You thought it was going to be what, 80? No, I said it was between 90 and 100.
Yeah, no. I said it was between 40 and 60. We thought that he'd landed about 50, so we were close.
No, I thought we made the count for the last 2 games. You said something like 80
the last,
for the
two games.
Yeah. Yeah, you said something like 80, and I said between 90 and 100. I still believe he's going to hit. I think he's going to throw the ball 1,000,000 times this next game.
He'll throw it over 40. There's no doubt. Well, they're the worst pass defense in the league.
He threw for 40 times for 120 yards. You don't think he's going to throw? Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, no, he'll throw for. And again, part of it's going to be where Najee's running too. If Najee's running hard, golly, if that center comes out and they look tough.
TJ,
what better way to humiliate your foe?
If they run the ball again for 200 yards with that center, I may personally pen a letter to Art, say, what were you guys doing all season?
I get some money back for my season tickets.
Exactly. Like, yeah. And while you're at it, throw a couple extra bucks for Kent Graham taking money from Tom.
That's right. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say Ben's going to throw 43 times.
I think it's going to be more. I think it's going to be like 48 to 50 to put him on pace for that 95 to 100 that I said.
Could be.
Okay. What was Ben's best season? That's a great question, man.
He had some better statistical seasons that weren't Super Bowl seasons, but I'll tell you what, his run to the, when they beat Arizona, I still think that throw to Holmes. Was there 35 seconds left or 25 seconds left?
No, there's a minute left.
He was covered.
There was a minute left.
Was there a minute left? Yeah.
Yes, TJ. I watched. You don't think I watched that before the game on Monday? 7. Yeah, I didn't watch the old Super Bowls.
That was just I don't know. That would have to be in my top 10 best ending passes for a Super Bowl. Easy. I mean, it's probably in the top 5. I mean, do you think the remarkable thing? Do you remember that was the same game too that Harrison ran back that stinking? They were on the 2, on the 5? Where were they at?
Yeah.
That was just incredible.
I agree, man. I agree.
Now, I would say probably, what year would that be? That'd be 2009? 10? 9? That's what I think.
2008. 2008. The 2008 Super. That was the year we were in St. Lucia when that was when I got married.
It is.
I didn't get married Super Bowl. We were AFC title game. That's when Troy took the ball.
I remember watching it. That's when Brown stuck that ball over the line and pulled it back.
No, TJ, what are you talking about?
Didn't he do that?
TJ, when did they win the Super Bowl? They won the Super Bowl in 2008.
Yeah,
the Cardinals.
They went to the Super Bowl in 2000 and was it 6 in 2008 or 4 and 8?
Yes,
or 5 and 8.
So you're saying 2008 when they played the Cardinals was his best year?
I think
I was married in 2008.
Yeah,
we were in St. Lucia for my wedding.
They played the Ravens.
Yes, in the Ravens. That's when Troy picked the ball off and he ran it back for the touchdown when they beat the Ravens 3 times.
That's right.
The one with Antonio Brown was 3 years ago when they won the division.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was yeah, man. I remember I was ready to run. I was ready to run into the ocean before I found out.
I was afraid we were going to miss it. I was on a plane, late plane.
I was ready to run into the ocean, but thank God I didn't. Because I think I figured out the next day, pretty much the ocean around, the hotel was coral. I would probably that's where I would have been dead.
That's right.
Wedding night it would have been great.
Probably.
Mush, what a question by Mush. I don't even want to read this.
Read it.
Was the family thing at the end of the game staged? What a jerk. What
You know
a
what?
jerk.
Let's use it in Pittsburgh vernacular. Only a jagoff would
Jagoff.
say stuff like a jagoff.
Jagoff.
Just a jag. Don't be a jagoff, Mush. Don't be a jagoff.
Don't be a jagoff.
No, it was
Don't be a
it was
jagoff.
heartfelt and you know, if it was, who cares? If you want to go out like that, have your family there.
TJ,
I'm not planning to have my
you're
family
not,
there.
TJ, to have Benjamin
Yes.
Jr., Benjama.
Yeah.
I don't know who the fourth kid was around there, and it wasn't one of his kids. But I saw another kid come
Tim
out.
Harris. That's the
four.
foreign exchange kid. That's the kid that they used to pay in Guatemala. And they brought him here because out of the goodness of Ben's heart, they brought him here. They just brought in another one.
Exactly. I mean, it
He's just, you know what? He's just jealous because who's the greatest QB in Bears history?
Sid Luckman.
And wasn't he like before the era of the forward pass? Didn't they throw the ball underhand back then?
They wore them leather helmets.
Who was the second most impressive QB in Bears history?
Jay Cutler.
I rest my case. If if he's your guy, if you got to point to him saying, but he's in our lineage of great QBs, I don't need to hear anymore.
Dude was smoking heaters on the sideline. Jay
That's
Cutler.
Right. And you know who their third greatest QB was? Bobby Brister. Probably the third. Jim McMahon. He got a Super Bowl. He's always got a ring. Oh, but he was terrible. Right. McMahon was terrible.
He wasn't that very good. The mush. What chances do we give the Steelers of making the playoffs?
I hate having to depend on. I mean, Trevor Lawrence does have great hair. Is his hair powerful enough to have them beat the Colts? Now that you told me that he's afraid of clowns, that changes everything, Tim. I'd have clowns everywhere. I'd have them on the scoreboard at halftime. I'd have them coming out on them little cars. I'd have them everywhere.
I mean, I don't know. Like Carson Wentz, there's just something about him that you're just like, he could implode at any set.
He is the double agent.
We'll see. Like if the Colts, I'll be watching that game. I'll be back and forth. If the Colts, if they let Carson Wentz throw the ball more than 4 times, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
Can't let throw more 4 times.
I hear guys talking like if the Jaguars beat them, like it's the greatest upset in NFL history. I don't see that. I think if they beat them,
they're like 16-point. They're 16-point dogs.
And I don't
that's
see
insane.
that.
That's like college.
It's not
crap.
like they're playing. I mean, the Colts aren't like. It's not like they're playing like the Chiefs. It's not like they're playing like. I don't like Green Bay. I don't see that. Why? Why such
Jaguars? The Jaguars.
I get it.
Suck.
They're a dumpster fire. But you know what? What do they have to lose?
I don't know, man. We'll see. Like I said, Steelers got to win their game.
They do. We worry about our. We take care of our business, Tim. The standard is the standard, Tim.
He wants to know: Did the Steelers break Baker? Mark, let me widen that net. Not only did we break Baker, we broke the Cleveland franchise last year thought the curse was over. It was done. No. TJ, we broke that. Out of anything that happened, if we don't make the playoffs, breaking their backs this year was just the great. TJ, I was dressed in it. I had dog ears last year with a brown nose.
Yeah.
TJ, breaking their souls, their hearts, to see Cleveland fans admit that Ben is their daddy. I saw it. They said it.
They did.
TJ, that is like winning a. That's like you should put that on his Hall of Fame bus as a third Super Bowl.
You should.
Daddy owner of the Cleveland Browns.
He should go in as the owner of the Cleveland Browns too.
Benjamin Todd Roethlisberger.
Yeah. I think Baker's done.
TJ.
Did you see his eyes? There was nothing about that he wanted.
He looked like he was like I honestly thought at maybe some point, like after the game, Baker was going to carry Ben out on Baker's going to carry him on his shoulders. Like, you're my daddy. I love you.
It was bad.
The only thing that would, and I don't want this to happen, but it would be hysterical if it ever did. Somehow, Cleveland got sick of Baker. They got rid of him, and the Steelers gave a flyer on him, and he came to Pittsburgh, and he just beat the crap out of the Browns for the next 15 years. TJ, could you imagine that?
That
like
would
Steelers
be
go,
nuts.
Steelers go 2 and whatever every year, but they just continue to beat the Browns with Baker all those 2 games.
People forget the Browns arguably had one of the greatest coaches in NFL history, and they got rid of him.
They're just a bunch of TJ. That's why Mason should be. They're both doofuses together. They can be doofuses in the sun.
They could.
All right. Here's a crazy question. Will there be a podcast next year? Of course there will be, Mush.
Yes.
There's always going to be a podcast.
We have to. The fans need us. We can't disappoint the fans.
We may, I know we didn't do it last year, but there may be some Pens podcasts, because guess what? They are a wagon. They're a wagon.
I saw them in person last night. I was on the ice as they dismantled the Flyers. When I say dismantled the Flyers, it was ridiculous. There was nothing they could do. Nothing.
They don't even.
You talk about another guy owning somebody. Sidney Crosby is the Flyers' daddy. There's no doubt in my mind.
TJ, they don't even have Geno Malkin back yet.
No, he gets back. It's scary.
TJ, I could be watching hockey in June with TJ. I'm thinking about already putting a pre-order in of some new Stanley Cup champion socks.
I think that's a good call.
Happen.
I think it's good. They won 10 in a row. They look scary. Nobody wants to see them. Nobody wants to see them. Oh my
Lord, they look like a wagon.
They do.
Wagon, absolute wagon.
Looks good. Looks good.
That's that's all I got from the Mush. Mush came in late.
Well,
a couple things in there.
Let's finish up then. Let's do some score predictions. What do you think the score is going to be on Sunday?
A typical Steeler Raven game. It's going to probably be 20-17. Ball's going to kick a field goal.
Yeah.
To win the game. That's probably what I'm thinking. I
think we're going to see that, or I think there's a possibility. I think you're right. I think if the Steelers get up early, and the defense smells blood in the water, it could be a really, really long day for. I think the defense is going to play inspired for TJ Watt now. I think they're going to put a chip on their shoulder and say, we're going to get this guy the defensive player of the year.
And I will say this. The one thing that I want you to be very, very conscious of, I think there's going to be a lot of Steeler fans in Baltimore. Yeah. When I say a lot, I mean an embarrassing indictment on the Baltimore Raven fan base. That's going to be how many Steeler fans? I'm talking like 50% of that stadium is going to be Steeler fans. Mark my words.
Wouldn't that be glorious?
Mark my words.
That'd be amazing. So I'm going to say, you're going to say 2017. I'm going to say 24-10.
Your player of the game offensive wise?
Offensive wise, it's Najee. I think Najee's he's going to go over 100 again. I'm going to say Najee's going to run for almost $150. I think they figured something out. What I saw what he can do when you give him a step on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and he's scary. He is very Henry-like. And boy, you talk about another team that's going to be scary. Mm-hmm. Tennessee getting Henry back. Holy crap!
They have a bunch of grown men on that team.
Oh, they do, and he's rested, healthy and rested. Now again, he's got to get back into battle shape. So I think offensively, to me, it's Najee. Who's your guy?
I'm going to try to do some reverse juju, so hopefully they don't. It puts a whammy on them. I'm going to say Ray McLeod because I'm sick and tired of them throwing the ball 47 times.
He's their main target. He's the weapon. Oh, so who's the defensive player of the game?
Oh, TJ Watt. TJ, if he has to be. I mean, has to be.
I think he breaks the record. I think he does. He breaks the record, and it's again. I just hope that they give him defensive player of the year. I hope they don't shaft him because he's a generational talent. And he's just. I still don't think we've seen him at his best yet. I think he's still.
No, TJ's played like 13 games, 14 full games.
He's scary.
That dude could have, if he played a full season, he could have 30 sacks.
He could. And you know what's funny too? That. You had like a Tuitt, somebody of his caliber back in there too. It's just terrifying.
TJ, you can't double him.
No.
What are you going to do?
You're right.
You can't double them, or if you do, Tuitt and Hayward are going to eat you alive.
Yeah, I think what Tuitt does in the offseason is going to be a big deal. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Tim. Anything else you want to add before we say sayonara?
Ben, like I said,
your guy.
I'd fit in well with the family.
You would. You kind of have his ruggedly, good-looking features, Tim. Let's just be real, Tim. Ben is not a good-looking man, is he?
What are you saying about me then?
Well, you know what we're saying.
I mean, me and Seven.
Would you put Ben in the good-looking category?
I don't talk about him like that, TJ.
You don't talk about your daddy like that, right?
Whoa. Dot me, Benjamin, Todd.
That's right.
Yes,
all right. Well, I'm TJ. I'm here with my brother Tim. We're the YINZER Bros. Don't forget, if you like the podcast, you like what you hear, you see, pass it along to your friends, your neighbors, everybody. We're the YINZER Bros. Stay classy, Pittsburgh.
Still number one out here.
One more to go, baby. We'll see ya.